guys, it's PokeFangirl4, aka HoloLessa2. So yeah, I haven't done anything since that, Shaq video. So, what I'm gonna do today is talk about the new, TMNT episode now that it's off, hiatus. And also, probably, say a few things that I want to see in the show. Hopefully, I'll also be getting out some other videos where I'm just kind of talking, probably gonna review, well, I'm hoping to review Justice League War and talk about the casting for the Justice League movie, or the Superman versus Wonder Man, Superman versus Batman movie. Might as well be Superman versus Wonder Woman versus Batman at this point, though. So anyway, gonna talk about the new TMNT episode called The Good, the Bad, and the Casey Jones. I liked it. I really did. Cause, yeah, I'm just jumping right into this. One of the main things that I wanted to see from second season, now that we've introduced Casey Jones, is the famous or infamous Casey Jones-Raphael bromance. Because I really, really like their friendship. I always have. Just like movies and like, you gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. I quote that line way too much, like, around people that have watched the movie. And 2003 friendship, which was the one that I really grew up with. So I've been waiting for this for like a while because I'm like, if they don't have a bromance, I'm gonna shoot someone. So yeah, this episode was good. I liked that the episode, instead of starting with just the turtles fighting, it started with Casey Jones's little intro thing. I liked that a lot. I like that it shows, what is going on from his point of view first, and how the episode sort of shows how he changes from that mindset to the whole, well, maybe they're not all bad, at least these guys are good mindset. And then, also, it mentioned that, the thing I liked, it mentioned that he had a little sister. So, I like that because I'm thinking that we're gonna get Angel now from the 2003 series, and I liked her character. So, I'm really excited if his little sister does happen to be Angel. Then we're gonna get to, like, the part of the gist of this episode's anger plot thing. I really like that they discussed Raphael's anger again, because sometimes when you have like a personal problem, like a personal flaw, like if you're angry or you naturally talk a lot like Mikey tends to do, or if you're stubborn, a lot of times that doesn't just fade away as hard as you try. Raphael probably tried and probably fell out of practice a bit, and it looks like it's sort of triggered by mostly by his brothers making fun of him. That when the people you trust most not to judge you like that, I can understand him being triggered by their like comments and their jokes. Even when he tried to apologize, they're still making fun of him because they don't believe that he can do it. So that makes him more angry, and makes him angry at other people when he sees them. And even though he knows it's wrong and will try, and he even tried to talk to Casey about it, because Casey suffers from the same sort of anger that he does. Like, I like the parallels that they had with him and Casey. That, like, one with, they both have severe anger issues. They both are protectors. They're both scared of something that they really shouldn't be. For Raph, it's cockroaches. For Casey, it's rats, which I thought was very funny because of Master Splinter. And it gets to and it also shows, like, the monster you can become, if you don't control that anger, which was a thing in the original comic books. If anyone remembers the 2003 episode where Donnie becomes a where Donnie becomes a monster, that was originally Raph in the comic books. Raph, his anger made him turn into a monster. And this episode gives me the feel that they might go with that route, where Raph might turn into a monster or hurt somebody. He nearly stabbed Casey in the forehead, and that was what made me feel like they're gonna go. I feel like they're gonna go more in depth with it this season, or at least eventually. that you can become a monster if you can't learn to take criticisms, as hard as it might be, from those who are closest to you, to control your anger. So that was good, because I know a lot of people I saw like a lot of negative, oh, we're talking about Raph's anger again. Well, it's a major part of his character. It's something that's just not going to go away with one episode, especially in the first season, or ever. It's part of who he is. It's his stubborn anger that he gets, and you could tell he was better at controlling it this time around, but it also looked like he gets it in his anger more severely now, because he is sort of I guess he's trying to bottle it in, and then when he really gets mad like he did in this episode, it just explodes. Other things I liked, I liked how they became friends, because that's how you can become friends with some. It's much like the troll in Harry Potter, where you're not just going to come out of that not friends. And they realize that they did have similarities, and they're going to be those guys who could just punch each other in the face and then be best friends 5 minutes later, which is always a great bromance to watch, and is very much the Casey-Raphael bromance. Also, he paints his face. That was funny. Like, there is more skull face paint under the hockey mask. Okay, other things I liked in this episode that were more references. I liked Irma. I liked that. I liked how different. I like how I think she was supposed to be seen. I couldn't tell if she was supposed to be like scene goth or something. I know that's very different, but I mean, I couldn't tell what she was like. Maybe it's just the way she wants to dress. I don't know. It looked like a scene with a gothic twist sort of look, which I liked how she looked, because I mean, I didn't expect her to look exactly like her 80s counterpart, and it's great to have her back in the cartoon because she's funny. And like this, she was again really funny with Casey, because she's like, no, I'm not taking your crap, I have a test to go do. So it was really nice to see her character for the first time. I like that you actually see the injuries from that fight with Raphael. Like, they don't just go away. And then I think that was why one of the reasons why he was wearing the face paint was to cover up the injuries Raphael gave him. So, other things. Oh, the reference to the comic books, that's Casey's drawing style, and that is really neat to see, that he can draw like the comic books and make references to that. That they dropped the Super Sentai hint, that's what the show is. It's like some Voltron Super Sentai show, and I like that, because I like their show within a show to make parallels idea. Although I do miss, and I like that even if we're not in the Star Trek parody anymore, that we're still getting the guy smacking the other one in the face. Like, what is that? It's great. Also, I haven't seen if anybody noticed this yet, but there was a huge reference to the movies in one of the scenes. Because, like, I haven't seen it on Tumblr, like, anybody say, oh, this is a movie reference. Because I noticed that immediately. I guess probably watched the movie way too many times. But there is a scene where Casey is drawing on the fire escape, looks over and sees Raph practicing his moves on a roof. That's a direct reference to the first movie. Not only that, but right afterwards, the foot all show up in the same manner that they do in that scene, except behind Casey instead of behind Raph. But it was like, I'm like, oh, that's a reference to the movie. Like, I caught that immediately. At least that's my opinion. So, overall, it was a really good episode. It's probably my favorite one in Season 2 so far, and might even be my favorite. I don't know, my other favorite might actually be a New Girl in Town, which was Karai's introduction episode, which I really liked, because I love Karai. So, anyway, it was a good episode. There were little plot holes, like no little plot holes. I liked that they gave subtle hints that they might be introducing. I like that they might be introducing Angel. I like subtle hints that Casey does care for his dad, because normally his dad is a drunkard, but that hurts him. But also, like, I want to make a point that just because he is doesn't mean Casey would love him any less. So I think that might come into play later, at least hinted at. And I hope so, because I feel like it would maybe be a shame not to hint at that, because it is part of Casey's story. Also, note that they didn't mention a mom, so that's probably why he became a vigilante. I'm going to say purple dragons, because he nearly beat them to death. Much like Raphael, who stabbed him in the head to death. Because you're not going to be anywhere else but dead if you get stabbed in the head. Wow. Anyway, so, I'm going to move on right now to what I want to see in the series. My first and number one just got completed with this episode, and I was like, yeah. So, other things I want to see. Now, I would like to see a... This one's not going to happen, I don't think. Even if I'd like it to... And I don't know, so I don't, because I'm going to make it first on my list, is a Battle Nexus. I really liked the Battle Nexus. I just rewatched the, arc on YouTube, and I really like the concept of the Battle Nexus. Although I think it could go slower. The only time they got a break was in between the first 2 matches and the final 2 matches. I don't know, I feel like there could be something in between each match, but there doesn't have to be. Also, I don't want Mikey to win, because then they'd be directly stealing the 2003 stuff. And Mike even proved that he did win by beating the other guy in a fair fight in 2003 series. Because Mikey won the battle. If anyone watched the 2003, you know Mikey won the Battle Nexus Championship. He doesn't shut up about it. But the reason I would like to see a Battle Nexus is because I really like the concept of them going to, like, a Nexus or to compete against other warriors. It gives them a chance to meet other characters like Usagi Yojimbo, who is, again, another person I want to see, another thing on the list of people that I want to see in this show so much. So much! But anyway, it gives them a chance to introduce that there is other stuff outside their world, because that was always a big kind of a theme once they went out into space with 2003, which they could do a space arc and bring in Professor Honeycutt, I think his name was, because he's the Fugitoid, so he's always been in there. But back to the main point of the Battle Nexus is it's a good way to introduce new characters to be brought back later for a bigger story arc. I would also like to see maybe not one of the turtles win, but maybe somebody else, and have them be humbled by that, thinking that they're going to go in, oh, Master Splinter won this, we could win this. But it's probably not going to happen, since it was a 4Kids creation, but again, the original creators did work close, or I mean, at least Kevin Eastman worked close with that, so they might be able to use it. I'd also like to see the 2003 Turtles in that apparent crossover that's going to happen. That would be really nice, especially since I'd love to see Raph 2003 and Raph 2012 interact, because I think that would be really great, because I feel like 2003 Raph is a lot of what 2012 Raph would want to be, because he's a protector. He, by the end of it, does have his anger a little more under control than Raph clearly did in this episode. Also, again, 2012 Leo and 2003 Leo, like, 2003 Leo is a fully realized, very competent leader, and for 2012 Leo to see that would be, like, just amazing to see that he could look what his future could be through this guy. And that's why I would really like to see the 2003 Turtles meet the 2012 Turtles in the crossover, and also continuity. That's another thing, if they're going to do a crossover, is the continuity of, oh, we've done just a mention of, oh, we've done this before, it's okay, we just gotta make a portal stick out of a flashlight, or something like that. I know I'm kind of getting off topic here, my thoughts aren't exactly all gathered together, but yeah, like, also I'd like to see the world of, Usagi Yojimbo, sorry, couldn't think of his name. I feel like they're gonna make him a mutant in this, which, I don't know, I don't really like the idea, considering that he's another he's not a creation of Eastman and Laird. He's a creation of Stan Sakai. I've read, and I love the Usagi Yojimbo graphic novels. Like, they're great. Because one, Usagi isn't a teenager. He's an adult. He has an illegitimate child that doesn't... I'm not even going to get into that because that story is ridiculously complicated. But I would really like to see him, Tomeo, who is his female samurai friend slash love interest, Jinosuke, who you did see in the 2003 series. He's the rhino without the horn on the nose. That kind of reminds you of Bebop. Bebop was the rhino, right? Or no, was that Rocksteady? See, this is my problem with the 2003 with these two. I can never remember which one's Bebop and which one's Rocksteady. I'm actually thinking that, yeah, maybe Rocksteady. TMNT. Okay, yeah. Bebop was the Warthog, Rocksteady was the Rhino. Okay, I'm very sorry. I correct myself. I always do that. With these two. So, other things that are just kind of happening, with this... Sorry, I'm trying to think now. So yeah, I'd really like to see that world, because the world that Stan Sakai created for them, called Earth 2, and, the Battle Nexus, which it would probably be a different Earth in this one. I would really like to see that, because they have some great characters, because the ones that you saw in the 2003 episode were the Snake, who was in the graphic novel, and one that I didn't read, because he was in there, in Usagi, Gen. I don't know if you met Stray Dog. Stray Dog would be really interesting to me, because he's, sorry, my dogs are, speaking of Stray Dog, my dogs are barking. So, Stray Dog is, like, Genosuke's rival, but friend? They both are, they're both, running samurai who go after money. Mostly, they're like the urban samurai. If you go watch John Green's, there's a John Green video that talks about the urban samurai. I'll link it in the description. And that's kind of how I feel like Stray Dog and Jen are like. And then I love Tomeo, because she is the head samurai for this young lord, and she knows what she's doing, and she's confident, and I think you've only really seen her sort of break down. They got kidnapped and were in the mountains for a while, and that's when you really see, like, her emotional ability to just, because she was almost out of hope, but she still made it out, and she's a very strong female character. Also, I'd love to see Chizu. I don't know if this is how you pronounce her name, but I've always called her Shizu or Chizu. It's C-H-I-Z-U. She was a female leader of... You actually saw her for like 5 seconds in the 2003, which made me very happy, because she's my favorite female character in the Usagi series, like, more than Tomeo. And I love her to death, because she's just this strong, again, another strong female character. Her and Usagi, like, have this weird love, but not love thing going on. But I'm not saying, like, this is stuff, I feel bad, because I'm just talking about my opinions of these characters, but those would be the characters I'd like to see. I'd also wouldn't argue to see, the thief Kitsune, and her niece Kyoko. And I also wouldn't object to seeing Jotaro, Usagi's son either, but they probably can't, because he'd be illegitimate, and they probably would make Usagi a teenager, because that's like they did in 2003, because that's sort of what they do. This is my house, if you hear that yelling. Anyway, so yeah, I'd like to see Usagi, I'd like to see Tomeo and Jen and Stray Dog, and pretty much any combination of the Usagi characters. I'd love to see that world. I'd love to see Leo and Usagi become friends, because I always they worked well as friends, as like almost like a calmer, more honorable foil to Raphael and Casey, because, well, so like, because while Raph and Casey always go and look for trouble because they want to protect people and do it for fun because it's fun for them to do and get their anger out, Leo and Usagi always seem to do it for a purpose. Like, they'd go somewhere to stop a bad guy for a purpose, to clear a name, to stop a villain, to get Leo home to his home dimension. Like, that's always the difference. And it works as a really nice foil to that. Other things I'd like to say, I don't know. Like, this show keeps surprising me with everything. I'd like to see more of Xever. I really like Xever a lot. Just a lot. I think he's interesting. I like him a lot more than Bradford, who is now, Razor, which I found really funny that they made him Razor. I didn't see that one coming. That was a very good twist that they made, Dog Pound into Razor to make a movie reference. I really would like to see more of Xever. I'd like to maybe see him returned to his human form, to show that there is a cure for mutation. I feel like that's what they're gonna do, because I feel like he's the one suffering, really, because, yeah, Dog Pound wasn't, he was stronger in his dog form than he was in his human form, but it stopped him from being able to do a lot of his ninjutsu moves, but that got fixed. He didn't mind being mutated again. But I'd like to see, but Xever, like, he lost his legs. That was his whole thing, was the kicking thing, and I can imagine being a fish out of water isn't a fun thing, and I would like to see that more explored, because I really like Xever. I think he's an interesting character, and I really liked the backstory they gave him, and I like that he's kind of new, too, so, other things, Bishop, I want to see Bishop, eventually. Now, one thing I didn't talk about the Battle Nexus is that I don't think that they're going to do that. They might do that as a latter half of season 3. I think season 3 might be more focused on the outer world, like maybe going to Dimension X or out into space. I feel like that would be a good route to go. Maybe meet some Triceratons. I feel like that'd be a season 3 or season 4 deal. Maybe even having 2 or 3 episodes at the end of season 3, cutting it off, and then continuing the arc for 2 episodes at the beginning of season 4. That would be really good, actually, I think. Again, I feel like a lot of this has to happen probably next season, and although we're not confirmed for season 4, if it continues to do this well, I feel like we might get it, especially since they're doing a lot better with their second season. Now, season 4's right now I'm worried about, because MLP, who was a really great show, is kind of disappointing me with its season 4. Maybe it's been running too long for a My Little Pony series. I don't know. I haven't been really impressed with it, but I'll talk about that in a different video. But yeah, back to TMNT, I feel like this one has the potential. I mean, it was a few seasons before TMNT 2003 started to go downhill. It wasn't until Fast 4, which was, I think, their season 5. And not even the real season 5, because the original season 5 was a much better story arc, if you guys remember. The Lost arc, which was the Acolyte season, which again, another thing I would like to see is the Ninja Tribunal. Like, I adored 2003, in case you can't tell. Also, other things that I've liked about, alright, so, honestly, mostly is, other things is just more of certain characters, like more Xever, more, Leatherhead, more Slash, I would like to see the introduction of Bishop, like I said, just because I feel like later in a season, as if it grows, like, it almost seems to be growing a more dark tone as we keep going. Like, there are, of course, later episodes, but again, 2 of this season's episodes have been horror, I believe, or at least, no, not 2 of the episodes, just 1, but it was a very intense horror episode, I feel, and it showed Mike in a good light. And then another thing is that, again, Raph did almost kill Casey in their first meeting. That was really dark. But also showed the personalities of both of them very well. Other things, more development of Mikey, so that he's less, like, I like that they're showing that he's useful. Show him as that glue that sticks them together. Also, like, I love that when Mikey takes that role. Other things. If this is definitely going to be a shred. I feel like this season's going to wrap up the Krang. For the most part. Like, I feel like we're finally going to get the end to the dimension. I feel like we're going to get more with the... Because now I'm going to move into predictions. I feel like this season's going to wrap up the Krang for the most part. Like, they'll still be there, but I feel like they're going to be mostly working with the Shredder than ever before. Like, I think he's going to get some kind of control over them. I feel like this is going to slowly shift, and I feel like either the end of this season or season 3 is going to be a Shredder-based season. It's going to finally start to focus on Shredder is our enemy. Shredder is the guy that killed, Tang Shen and, like, did this to our master. It is time to face him. Because I can see why they're not doing, because, again, in the original comic book, it is controversial that Master Splinter, who is shown to be a capable fighter, would train for Turtles to go up against this guy just to take him out. So I like that in later series that it was done, that he's like, no, you just stay away from him, and while they go to fight the Krang, he goes after Shredder to face him, and that was really a nice touch. More Karai, I want to say more Karai. As anything else, I'd like to see the introduction of, like, darker tones. Like, not too dark, obviously, because it's a kid's show, but so was 2003 TMNT. Maybe, like, I really enjoy this show. Like, I don't have any real complaints about this. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna get, for predictions, I feel like we're gonna get, yeah, more Shredder-based stuff either at the end of this season or into next season. I feel like we're gonna get to see, I hope we get the, I'm trying to wonder who they're gonna pick to be the turtle that gets beaten up and thrown off the roof. Because in the comic books in 2003 it was Leo, in the movie it was Raphael. Either is good because normally it shows them getting closer together as brothers, and despite often being at odds, they're close. This season also, I think Leo is going to be afraid of heights. I was looking at, they were talking about somebody's got a really big secret in the promo. They have a new villain. I believe his name's called, like, King Mushroom or something, and he has the power to make you feel your fears, like, experience your fears, much like the Divergent simulations. Sorry, the book's right next to me. And, like, the episode where they went into that house and they had to each go through their different fears. Like, I think Leo's was, like, Splinter dying, and Raph was becoming the Shredder. Like, that one was scary. Like, this is what I could become if I can't get control of myself. That one was really good. I don't know why, but Donnie's was Angels. I think Donnie was mostly just losing a friend that wasn't his brother, that by her falling. And I forget what Mikey's was. Like, I honestly do. But I mean, like, we were already I remember on Tumblr, people were already making predictions about what each was by the, promo for the second half of season 2, and I really think that the fear is going to be that Leo is afraid of heights. That was something from the 2003 TMNT that I really liked, because it was a way to show that Leo isn't this perfect leader from birth. And this series has done a great job of showing that he was never made to be the leader. He has to learn how to do it. Because he just sort of asked to be leader. So I just really, really, really would enjoy if Leo was afraid of heights. Because from the preview, it was Leo was afraid of heights, Mikey was afraid of being alone, Raph would have to face the cockroach again, and Donnie was afraid of getting double mutated and turning into a monster, which, if that's true, is going to be a direct reference to the 2003, where he does get double mutated. Which, I don't know if that's an actual term. It's the term I've always used for being already a mutant and getting splashed with mutagen, was double mutated. Which is what happened to Mikey, and then they needed Bishop for the cure, and blah blah blah, and that was actually a really good arc. Anyway, so that's probably another one of his fears, because, again, he's caused the downfall with mutagen of 2 people already, Donnie, I mean. Because not only has he made April's dad a mutant, which was like, oh, okay, that's a thing, now that, wow, poor April. Like, I felt really bad for her and her dad. That now, Mr. O'Neill is now a bat mutant, and then, Mutant Man, Timothy. That was another thing, was with Timothy and the, whole he had to freeze him to stop him, because he saw what happened when a mutant drank more mutagen. Like, he also saw what happens when you get straight mutagen. And in the first double mutant we see is Dogpound, which that's a good reaction, but good mutation for him, but I mean, for Donnie, all he could see is himself turning into a monster. So that would be a really good thing to explore. I just feel like this show is just going to be this show is just really good so far, and I feel like it's only going to get better. I'd like to see, maybe, instead of Karai joining them at first, maybe being the Lady Shredder for a little while. I feel like that might happen. She kind of is whenever he's away, except without the armor. But she's not, again, she's much like Leo, isn't a leader yet. She lets her own personal vendettas get in the way of the bigger plan. So, evil as it might be. The characters in this show are very just understandable and relatable, and I like that a lot. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I would really like to see them go to Casey's grandma's farm. I always like it when they do. Because it's like, alright, we get because it always leads them to training and then, like, kind of realizing what they have to do. It's always a good time when they go to Casey's grandma's farm. So yeah, that's about all I have to say. I know that this cartoon is going to be a lot better than the CGI thing Michael Bay's making, because it looks like, yeah, those weird things with the clothes is going to be what they look like, and that kind of bothers me, because, I mean, they look like turtles, which I have no problem with, but the clothes bother me. And also Raph's headband, because I hate it when the headbands go all the way over the head, but don't have, or I hate it when the headbands go all the way over the head, unless they're a turtle tot. I like it when they're kids, but I feel like the strip is a way to signify that that they've matured. Oh, thinking of maturity, because it made me think of how when they got Raph and matured in the IDW comics, they got their colored headbands. Another thing I want to see is maybe Leo go to the Foot Clan like he did in the IDW comics. Like, I think that would be really interesting. I don't know. And then giving up the position to Slash, I believe he did in the comics. I haven't gotten there yet, but that would be really cool. Also, other prediction. I saw the Ice Cream Cat in their fridge in one of the previews. I think that's Clunk. I think that's going to be our Clunk. I think Mikey is going to pick up a cat, name it Clunk, and then it's going to get mutated because it likes to hang out in the freezer or something. So, if we get Clunk in any form, come on, we're going to be happy. That cat is the most cute thing ever. I loved Clunk. I loved Clunk so much. So yeah, so that's what I had to say about TMNT 2012 for right now, until probably the next episode. And then we'll see. So, see you guys. Hopefully I'll be back soon with another thing. Bye.